Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing? This is Omar from American Me Podcast. Change the name, trying to rebrand. Not making it, guys. A little sick here and there, but it's okay. You're gonna try as hard as you can. You see what I'm doing? I've been trying to do this video for a long time. I'm trying to do this show. You see, now I already pressed the wrong goddamn button. Okay, here I am. So I've been trying to do this show for a long time. There's a lot of things going on. Is that you can't keep up of what's going on? You know what I'm saying here? A lot of things. I mean, Gaza still the slaughter's going on, and if you say something, you could get arrested and deported, or go to a jail. Nobody knows where you are, or sent to a jail in El Salvador. The bombing on Yemen continues, and we're debating. The worst thing about liberal is they're upset at the Secretary of Defense for sharing the air attack on Yemen. I don't know, on an app called Signal, but the liberals are not saying why are we bombing Yemen. You see how it is, because they agree on that part. They're like, bomb these motherfuckers because we're trying to please Israel. Anything for Israel is good for us, so you might as well bomb it. But we don't care. But we're upset that this guy talked about it. Like Yemen has this. Yemen is a poor dirt country. I'm from Yemen, by the way. It's poor. It's been in a war for the last 10 years. Famine, disease, hunger, wars, 3 different governments there, 3 different presidents in the same country. Yemen is a victim of geopolitical proxy war. You have the north with the Houthis that we are bombing. They are part of the Iranian proxy militias, like Hezbollah and all those other militias throughout the Middle East. But nobody asks us how they came to power. This group in Yemen, the Houthis. We help them. Every time you see a new group pop up in the Middle East, trust me, made in the USA. These people were our answer to Al Qaeda and to ISIS, because they are a small minority, and they are a small minority group. I mean, religious, and they did something that the government they could not do, was destroy the Al Qaeda and ISIS from Yemen, because they were taking over the country. So the United States tolerated them, and even, believe it or not, when they took over the Yemen, we were helping them. We were actually helping them fight. Let me see the sound gets there. So the whole idea is that so we're bombing Yemen, not 25 days, and we're bombing cities and towns and villages. Yemen doesn't have any real military infrastructure. There's a bunch of fucking yahoos, Houthis, who don't even dress like normal, anything, run around in these pickup trucks. I don't know how they got these fucking, excuse my language, how they got these weapons, like these rockets and these missiles. I don't know how they got it. And Yemen is a very backward country, very generous country, but very backward in its technology. So the whole idea, when the liberals are crying, oh, Peter Agwith is, whatever his name is, he's given up the war plans of bombing Yemen. He shared it with his wife and his lawyer. Oh my gosh, that's yes, it is a problem. And that guy, he doesn't deserve to be Secretary of Defense. He doesn't have that depth. Even when he talks, he's so hollow. The way he talks, he is so hollow. He's always saying, well, they hate me because they hate Trump. They're trying to Russia. That's his old defense. Every time he gets on the camera, he'll flash the name Trump, that Trump was oppressed. And in order to stick himself to that oppression, whatever it is, I don't know what that is. So that's why it's weird when you look at the liberal media all over the place. Oh, we can't believe it. He should resign. This is crazy. This is why. Why aren't you asking, why are we bombing Yemen? Why have you been bombing Yemen for the since 2000? Yes, we did. You know what we used to do when Saudi Arabia was bombing Yemen? We used to fix the planes, pick the targets, refuel the airplanes in the air as they go and attack funeral procession, schools, factories, marriage, weddings, For 10 years, they killed almost 100,000 people, and we were doing it. Us, the United States. That was Obama, by the way. The so-called man of grace. The biggest phony ever. Barack Obama is the biggest phony ever. You understand? He's nothing. He was a plant, I think. He was put there at the, you understand? Obama was responsible for Saudi Arabia bombing Yemen for 10 years. It started under his leadership. So there are many things to talk about, and there's Joe Rogan. Now, whether you like Joe Rogan or not, Joe Rogan is a person who probably accidentally became famous on a podcast. He doesn't have the looks or the intellectual capacity. He's just a normal guy. So every time he have someone that the left doesn't agree with. Oh, look, Joe Rogan is platforming right-wing extremists. And then if he endorses Bernie Sanders, Joe Rogan is endorsing left-wing extremists. You understand? He can't please nobody. The man fell into wealth by accident. He started this podcast. It's the #1 podcast. He's getting $100 million a year for it. Good for him. But he cannot satisfy everybody. He can't. You understand? And he has his own audience. His audience are mostly young and conservative. Everybody knows that. Because every time a guest goes in there, every time a guest goes to Joe Rogan's show, he comes out with a different audience. He becomes audience captured. I'll give you an example. You want examples? Ready? Bill Maher. Bill Maher was a piece of shit. He was a dying liberal. The audience was dying out. He went on Joe Rogan during the COVID-19 lockdown. He got a new audience. He became audience captured. Then he started, I'm the only one who's going to give it to the woke. I'm the only one who's a centrist. And he was kissing the ass of his new audience and this and this. And he started selling tickets in Alabama and West Virginia, red states that nobody gives a damn about him before. And then it's all about the money at the end of the day. So we're going to go over some videos. My apologies. Sometimes there's so much things I want to say. Oh, I want to say something about Harvard University. We found out that the people behind trying to shut down these universities and bend the knees and make them teach whatever they want to teach, hire who they want to hire, snitch on students, don't accept foreign students, is a small task force called the Anti-Semitism Task Force. How did we discover that? Because when they gave the ultimatum to Harvard University, they want all this. If not, they're going to lose $2.2 billion in government help. Harvard gave them the middle finger. He said, no, we're not going to sell our integrity as a university. We've been around almost 130 years. And what happened was we didn't know who was giving these orders. They would say it was Trump, Trump, Trump. Then the Washington Post did an article. It was the group, the anti-Semitism racketeering mafia, where they are using anti-Semitism to kneecap universities from accepting students and diversity, and letting students express their outrage at the war in Gaza, and getting the students hijacked from the streets, sent to Louisiana, from there to El Salvador, wherever they want to send them. So it's a shame that they are trying to ride anti-Semitism or trying to use anti-Semitism as a vehicle to fascism is going to have a boomerang effect. It's going to come back to them. Life is a musical chair. To our Jewish friends, and we say it like it is, to our Jewish friends, we know you're powerful right now. You have everything. You have money. You have organization. You have skills. You have APAC. You need to cut that out, because in the long run, it's called musical chairs. We used to play musical chair and we go around and around, and your turn is going to come. So you better cut it out and stop trying to play mafia for Israel. Israel is committing a genocide. I will say from today until the end of time. I don't care. It's not anti-Semitism to tell the facts that 20,000 children were murdered over 1 year, and they're still being murdered. Imagine a country that's trying to get out, that's trying to negotiate for 56 hostages, half of them already dead. In doing so, they have killed almost 2,000 or 3,000 people in the last week. You see the ratio? That means those 2,000 people and maybe hundreds of children, they are worthless, but those hostages are high valued human beings. That's what it means. And sometimes, everybody's been telling me, oh, Ma, you got to be careful. Don't speak. Is the microphone working? Oh, Ma, you got to be careful. America is still America, and I don't care. All this doxing, they doxing people on Twitter. What is it called? Stop anti-Semitism. Imagine if people started doxing Jewish organization leaders from the anti-Semitism task force, from the Stop Anti-Semitism, from AIPAC, just for the hell of it, doxing them because they support Israel and Israel's community. You know what the role is going to be back, and how the news is going to react. Oh, anti-Semitism, they are threatening American Jews. Blah, 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 blah. You have to speak the truth. Now, I find it fascinating that the anti-Semitism task force was probably made of Jews who are using it not for anti-Semitism. There is no anti-Semitism in the universities. A matter of fact, the students who are protesting against the war in Gaza, majority of them are Jews themselves. The leaderships are Jews themselves. And they're like, well, I'm going to show you some videos. Well, our Jewish students are being bullied. I'm going to show you a video how they do this enactment. They bring this Jewish kid with the yarmulke and all that Jewish hardware on, and he wants to go through the people who are protesting. He don't want to go around them. He wants to go right through them. If not, then they are violating his. This is census. That's a sense of entitlement. You know what I'm saying? The problem, I find it strange that the ADL came out against it, because the ADL found out, what we're doing here is crazy, because they got discovered with Harvard. When Harvard decided to fight back and sue, they knew those people were going to be named, and we found out who was doing all these kneecapping of universities and the places of higher education. I can give it down about these places, believe it or not. I never went to I went to a community college for a 2-year college. That's it. My professors were Jews. I had nothing to, not it. And I'm willing to tell you there's probably a lot of Jewish Americans who are doctors, professors, lecturers, teachers. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, how can these universities be anti all of a sudden when Israel starts killing men, women, and children and erasing a whole generation of people and erasing a whole city? All of a sudden, these universities become anti-Semites after 100 years. These are the same universities that rescued the Jewish community from poverty. If you go back 100, I read this book from 1880 to 1930. The majority of prostitution thing were Jewish women, because they were so poor. And they were living the east side. They were in crab. They had nothing. And through education, they uplifted their community, which is good for them. And I hope every community does the same thing. The same universities that gave them this vehicle to become doctors, scientists, political individuals, pundits, whatever you want it, journalists, lawyers. These are the universities that gave you the vehicle to get out of your poverty and the racism that was put against you as a people. So you gotta ask, the question is, when they say, oh, anti-Semitism is on the loose, can we have some numbers? Can we have some police reports? Because when I look at it, Muslims are getting, a Muslim kid got shot in Vermont, a kid got stabbed 26 times in Chicago, a girl got drowned in Texas. There's a lot of attack. There's every day. You don't hear us yelling, Islamophobia. No, man. It's not. These are sick people who will commit crime. Because I lived in the United States my whole life. I have lived in America my whole life. I have never faced any problem or any issues. Sometimes, when I did business, you could feel, but you can't read minds. And I don't give a damn how they think about me. As long as I'm doing my stuff, I'm doing mine, I'm making money, I have my businesses. I don't give a damn what you thought about me. You understand? So all this stuff is crazy. Let's go to these videos. You could tell I'm a disorganized human being, but what's his name? What's that idiot name? What's his name? Oh, Douglas Murray, the person with that English accent. Have you been there? You haven't been there? Huh? You haven't been there?
For a very long time. Israel.
Hold on, let me fix this. Hold on. Yeah. So he was on Joe Rogan and had a debate with Dave Smith. Dave Smith is a genius. He's a person of high intellect. He's a comedian, but he knows what he's talking about. And this person, because he has an English accent, we're supposed to believe that. We're way past that. We know now that a lot of people are idiots. They don't have to have an accent. We were fooled a long time ago. Okay, I got to do this, man. I don't know why I do this all the time. Hold on. Okay. Come on. The hell's wrong with you, man? Okay. So, where's the sound? I hear nothing, right? Hold on. Yeah, so Douglas, whatever his name, Douglas Murray or Murray Douglas, whatever the hell his name. You know, we always used to think growing up, oh, he has an English accent. He must be smart. Then we saw Piers Morgan. He's an idiot. Then we saw all these other human beings. They're all idiots. I mean, we all know you're all idiots. So why the hell am I not getting any sound? Okay. I don't. Hold on. That's what happened. You know, the screen is very far away from me, by the way. So I don't want you to think I'm going crazy here. It's too far away because, you know, since I did my eye surgery, they didn't do the right job. They made me see everything except, okay. What the hell's going on, man? Let me do it again, okay? Remove. Add. Okay. Okay. Is there sound? Fucking, what a fucking life I got. Huh.
Is on the front lines of a much wider war.
There you go.
And when you talk about that war, people on the left call you an Islamophobe.
You are.
Because they see
Both of you are.
multiculturalism. They say we're all part of the same, and we all part of the same humanity, but cultures are different. And I think that is the theme that you've worked on for a very long time, that Western values are different than other values that other cultures have.
Okay.
And in the ways we like to think, better.
Yeah, I mean, most people in the West, in free countries like America, seem to think that what we have is the natural order of things. We behave like...
Okay, he said they're trying to disrespect Eastern societies or the global South. Okay, let's think about what's going on in the West. In the United States, let's not go far away, okay? The United States has the highest, we have high rate of suicide. 50,000 women get raped. 120,000 people overdose on opiate, alcoholism. 500,000 people die from smoking tobacco. So, I mean, are you really better off than those idiots? And the only, you know, it is what it is. Let's listen, man. I hate when they do that.
Fish in water, we just don't realize this is what we're swimming in.
Yeah.
But it's actually very unusual what we have.
And
one of the lines I try to draw in the book
like a snake.
is the democracies, the liberal democracies that we enjoy. Some groups, some people, they don't want that.
Yeah.
They want something totally different.
Okay, what is it?
We have principles in our societies like prioritizing the importance of life.
Like what? Like transgenderism? What is it? What do we have in the West? What culture superiority do we have that is better than the southern part of the globe? We don't have anything. We are a dying society. Western society is dying. They're not making baby. Europe is dying. Germany is dying. Italy is dying. China is dying too, but it's their fault. But the whole idea is when you try to say yes, we have a free society here. We are allowed to live the way we want to. Like they say, love you want to love, or do whatever you want. You have these opportunities. But don't put down other societies. Maybe they don't want your democracy. What democracy do we really have? We vote for the same people. We have a two-party system. One time the Democrats take over, the second time the Republican, then Democrat, Republican. Now they're so greedy against each other that they're fighting. They don't even want to take turns no more. That's why they're gonna have it all. It's a fight for all. That's why it's falling apart, my friends.
We love life.
Yeah,
The
love life.
jihadists say, Hassan Nasrallah of Hezbollah, the leaders of Hamas, they said repeatedly,
Watch this.
the infidel love life, and that's their weakness.
Yeah.
And they say that because they, by contrast, what I call the death cults, they worship death. They glorify death.
So he's saying that Arabs or Muslims, they worship death, they love death. So let's not go back far. Let's just go to 1990. We declared war in Iraq for no reason under the pretext of weapons of mass destruction. We killed almost 1 million Iraqis. We don't count the people we kill. This is the problem. It is crazy that how crazy that we think that we are above everybody else. We killed you and we lied about the war and we destroyed your whole system in your country, and you're still killing each other until today because we destabilized your government in Iraq. Then we declared war on Afghanistan. We could have used special forces to get rid of those guys who Al Qaeda. Instead of, we wanted to take over the whole country. And we had a war with NATO in 34 countries, killing people in sandals in Afghanistan for years. And we still lost the war. But we love life. They worship death and destruction. You just murdered the people you defend, Mr. Douglas or Mr. Maher. He's an Israeli boy. He loves those hotels in Tel Aviv. You know what I'm talking about. The whole idea is they just killed almost 75,000 people, 20,000 children. Imagine the average age between the age of 5 and 7. And he's talking about that those people, they love death and we love life. This is the problem that we have. We are I don't know, man.
Hungry for death. They're hot for death. They're glorifying it.
They love it.
And they believe that by terrorizing us, by terrorizing Israel with this boast, we love death more than you love life, that they will intimidate us. They'll defeat us. And I say we have to take this on. We have to believe them, that when they behave as they did in Israel on October the 7th, when they behave as they did at the Bataclan in Paris.
How about we leave them alone? How about that? What do you think, Douglas? How about we just leave these motherfuckers alone? How about we stop the occupation by Israel? How about we stop the ethnic cleansing in the West Bank? There's no Hamas in the West Bank. How about we stop the killing machine that have destroyed Gaza? American people are seeing with their own eyes. They don't need you to get up and lie to them anymore like you used to do 20 years ago when there was no internet, no TikTok, no Telegram. It's what you're saying is so empty. It's not believable no more. It's just two guys sniffing. You know, have you ever seen dogs when they sniff each other's asses when they meet? This is what Douglas Maher is doing with Bill Maher. They both hate Islam. They both hate the Palestinians. They both are hardcore Zionist supporters of Israel. They are more Zionists than the Zionists themselves. This is why I find it so fascinating that why do you do that? Why? Just be honest. They love death. They are death culture. But we since 1990, from Iraq to Afghanistan to Lebanon to Yemen to, I think 80% of all the weapons that we made in the United States and sold killed Arabs and Muslims. I'm pretty sure. I wish somebody would study it. I'm pretty sure. The first smart weapons we used were in Iraq. Oh, this is a smart bomb. We didn't even know what a smart bomb was. It just started killing Iraqis.
So the Ariana Grande concert in Manchester. Yeah. We should believe that they mean what they say. They really do want death. And then, of course, there are two things. One, of course, we can do what we can to help them. And the second thing is
see, that was supposed to land. They love death. We're supposed to help them, like kill them, but nobody understood in the crowd. Because don't forget that Bill Maher's crowd is like they have this applause sign. They got applause every time to make them feel good.
Say, we will not apologize for loving life.
There we go. The SEALs are clapping. Look at that. He loves that.
It's odd that this is controversial.
Isn't it?
In America.
Isn't it? But look at the number of people who, for instance, when the Nova Party was attacked on the morning of October the 7th, and hundreds of young people just dancing in the early morning, you would have thought that the sympathies of the world would be with the young people who were attacked, raped, beheaded, kidnapped, shot in the head, and much more. And yet
there's no rape, there's no beheading. The majority of those people, we're not supposed to say that because we're going to be called anti-Semite. I might get deported for this. I'm an American citizen, but they'll find a way. The majority of those people who died on October 7th were killed at the hands of the Israeli military. Even Jews are saying that. Even Jewish organizations are saying, Haaretz, the newspaper are saying that. I find it interesting that Israeli newspapers tell more truth than American newspaper and American media companies. You understand? So the whole idea is to start this idea of okay, let's say it happened on October 7th, but does it give you the green light to kill 75,000 people and destroy universities? What do you talk about? You love death. They blew up 12 universities with TNT bombs. There was nobody in them. Hospitals, there was 26 hospitals. They blew them up. They were caught. They murdered medics with their ambulances. They dug up a whole burial ground and did a mass grave with the ambulances. The only reason is when they found them, the person before they died had his phone on. And these people is telling us about loving the life. What life do you people love, man? You mean we're not here to support any, let's just put it on as we're not here to support any death at all. There's a way out. That way out is they have to have a come to Jesus moment. Israel needs to understand that the Palestinian exists, and the Palestinians have to get the idea that the Israelis exist. And since they both have to recognize each other, they exist, we have to tell Israel no more guns, no more free bombs, no more cover. But you need to compromise because you're the stronger person, because you're the one with the 200 nuclear bomb. You can't play victims because sometimes when you talk with a pro-Zionist, does Israel have the right to exist? That's the first talking point. That yes, of course, it exists, doesn't it? The question is, do the Palestinians have the right to exist? There's only the solution is right there in front of them. They're going to have to come to it. That solution is a one-state solution where Jews and Arabs live under one-state constitution. And we're doing it here in the United States. Or a two-state solution, give the people their freedom and let them live on their 22%, whatever's left of their country. You understand what I'm saying here? There's a solution. You don't need a Douglas Murray. You don't need a Bill Maher. You don't need anybody. You could solve that.
Instead of all of the fellow students of those people who could have been at a similar dance party if it had been in their country, instead of having sympathy with the victims, they actually blame the victims. They double down on it. Yeah. In New York, there was a memorial, an exhibition to the Nova Party, and hundreds of people in New York came out to attack the survivors of the Nova Party. There was one man who lost both his daughters.
That's a lie.
And he has to walk through the crowd in New York celebrating the murder of his daughters. Why, if you...
I swear to God, he's lying. No one in their right mind will celebrate the death of other human beings. No evil piece of shit will ever do that, especially in New York. They're not going to let him do that. Come on, man. I live in New York. No one in their right mind is going to go out and celebrate the death of those people on October 7th while their parents are walking right through it. This is all lies. This is all propaganda. It is all coming apart. You can't lie no more. You can lie now. That's why you resorted to all this deportation, re-education. This communist shit you guys are doing.
Agree with the obvious statement that October the 7th was the biggest slaughter of Jews since the Holocaust.
Yeah,
Some people have had the ability to say that.
And you have to take this into point that when Israelis kill Palestinians, the Israeli military killed the Palestinian. When the victims are Israelis, the Jews were killed. 1,200 Jews were killed. You see how they changed the names? Any killing is wrong. There's a way out, but we have to make sure that we press. The United States holds all the keys to stop.
Say, okay, then who are the Nazis? And why are there so many of their supporters in our midst? Whatever radical movements have existed in the past, there was a no-go on supporting genocidal anti-Semitic groups who wanted to wipe out the Jews and then everyone else. We used to have that standard.
And also dance parties.
Yeah, most...
I got to say, you know, like, this is what bothers me about the people who call us Islamophobes. You like dance parties, you people. Half of them are at Coachella right now.
Right.
You know, I mean, it just doesn't exist in the part of the world that you're cheering for.
Right.
You couldn't do it. The idiots with the Queers for Palestine T-shirts on.
There we go.
Those people. I saw that, you know, Bernie Sanders and AOC going around the country now and getting huge crowds. And I read that they were in Boise, Idaho, not exactly a blue state. And the crowd, but their crowd, of course, there's a very liberal crowd. And a chant of Free Palestine went up.
This is the problem. This is what they are going through, a crisis now. That crisis is, how can we reverse the damage done by Israel in Gaza, and how can we unlearn? How can we get the people to unsee what they saw? So they find it unbelievable, because nobody used to say that before. Nobody even knew what Palestine is. But due to the internet, due to our culture, social media, and people don't get their news no more from Bill Maher or from CBS or from ABC, or only the old timers do that. Nobody does that no more. Do you think young kids will stay up and watch CNN with their BS every night? Nobody. That's why they find it unbelievable when they hear young American in the midst of the heartland of the United States saying free Palestine. They don't like that.
And pretty much stopped the show. So I kind of worry that that's where the Democratic Party is, that this is their next stupid hill to die on.
Yeah.
So the chant of Free Palestine, free from who, I would like to ask. Did they realize who was really...
Okay, let me get a guess. Free Palestine from who? From aliens? Nope. No. From China? No. From America? No. Who are the people there? Oh, Israel is occupying them. That's who they want to be free from. But they're going to ignore that. I want to show you how hollow, and when you hear this and you know the whole what's going on, you it's like these people are bankrupt mentally, man.
The people who are...
I hate these people in this club because they're stupid. They don't even know what they say.
Palestine.
If those moronic people had any knowledge, they would say, Free Palestine from Hamas. At the very least, they'd do that.
Yeah.
That was get the clubs.
But as I show in my book, and I did, as you know, I was on the ground reporting the atrocities of October 7th. I was embedded with the IDF in Gaza as well as Lebanon. But the real question I have comes back to the...
He was embedded my dick. He was fucking, on his knees, sucking those cocks. There was no embedded. There's no journalist in Gaza.
This thing here at home, which is, why are there people, first of all, who openly support the death cult of Hamas, who love it, glorifying it? Then, of course, you've got the ones who, basically like the KKK, they want to cover their heads and their identities whilst calling for genocidal violence.
No, the reason that these students are covering their faces is because you have this, you have threatened them not to give them jobs when they graduate. They have this facial technology, and they keep them on a database. When these people go to get a job, they're going to deny them job based on the protest. They said it. Kevin O'Leary said it out loud. They all said it. You understand? They are using everything that we never thought they're going to use.
The people who wear a keffiyeh and also a COVID mask, because they simultaneously want a lot of intifada and are fearful of the COVID-19 virus.
Joke. Laugh.
The Delta variant particularly terrifies them. But some of these people are serious about it, and some of them have been just deluded. They couldn't find Israel on a map if you left them alone with a head torch and a map.
Before, now they can now.
But there are others who are in the realms of magical thinking. They genuinely seem to believe that if the Palestinians were given another state, and in my view they were given one in 2005, but if they were given
I swear to God, this is all lie. They were given shit. Everybody knows.
Another state, they seem to believe that everything else in the region would be solved. Yemen's economy would blossom. The mullahs in Iran would give women equal rights, and everyone would be going to gay bars in Riyadh. None of that's true. None of it's true.
All about them gays getting that butt,
But the bigger one is, why do they think it would improve anything here at home as well? Why, if the Palestinians get another state, does it not only solve every...
Why the Palestinians get another state? They never had a state. The whole country was theirs. The Jews are from Europe. Those are refugees who came because nobody wanted them in Europe. That's why they had the final solution. The final solution was about is because the English didn't want the Jews. America sent back the shit. They don't want the Jews. All the Sweden, all the European countries did not want the Jews. And Hitler said, fuck it, I want to kill these people. And they found some refugee in Palestine. So they're not getting another state. They just trying to get whatever's left of theirs.
Injustice in the Middle East, of which there are plenty, but every injustice here in America. This, just as our ancestors, some of them believed that you could turn base metal into gold.
Yeah.
These people have been persuaded that if you give yet more governance to Palestinians in the Middle East, I mean, there's a good argument for Palestinian rights as long as they don't vote in Hamas. But the idea that you just have another Palestinian state and then all injustice in the world is solved, this is magical thinking. And unfortunately for these people, it has no connection with reality.
So what do people like us do who recognize this as a big problem on the left, but also recognize the horrible stuff that's going on the right? I mean, you were on Joe Rogan a couple of days ago, a week ago, something like that. It got a lot of press. And I'm glad you said what you said, which is, I mean, I like Joe, but he has on people who entertain these crazy conspiracy theories and doesn't really push back on them. It's okay to have, I mean, I'm a free speech absolutist.
Yeah, absolutist.
But there seems to be no pushback on this. And of course, what's going on in this country, what we're going to probably be talking about here on the panel in a minute, this kind of...
So let me give you some background. Douglas Murray was on the Joe Rogan with Dave Smith and Joe, and he took a beating. He was exposed as a phony, bankrupt, and you haven't been there. Oh, you probably heard about it. So this was his comeback. So what Bill Murray does, let me invite him and give him some redemption.
Encroaching fascism. I mean, I was using the term slow-moving coup before he got elected the first time.
Well, the right, clearly, I mean, it's always interesting to see what happens at the point of victory. What do you do with your victory? And if those people on the American right who are now in the ascendant, if they decide that they want to use their point of victory to, for instance, lie about the origins of the Russia-Ukraine war, or lie about the nature of Hamas, or lie about the state of Israel, or lie about history. I mean, the reason I did this pushback is, I mean, you just have to. I mean, you just have to, in my view, basic social hygiene. If you've got somebody who's coming along who pretends to be a historian, who then can always do the thing of saying, oh, I actually don't call myself a historian, it's just other people I allow to call me a historian. Like I'm not a car mechanic, but if I kept on being introduced as a car mechanic, I would say, oh, no, you got the wrong guy. So they don't mind it. They don't mind it. They have this slip out. These people that I was trying to call out on Joe's show, they are doing things like Hitler wasn't that much of an anti-Semite. Main problem in the 20th century was Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill was the warmonger. Adolf Hitler wanted peace. And I just, look, it's a matter of social hygiene. Don't feed me this shit. And
social hygiene.
This is all, and you know, there's obviously this crossover between the people who are just trolls. They say this because they think it's really fun to do the Jewish question, to do like a bit of Holocaust denial, a bit of Hitler praise, a bit of Churchill degradation. They think it's kind of funny. What they're watering and what's going to come up underneath them are going to be people who believe this rot. And a lot of people, you can...
If you want to know what Churchill did in World War II, just Google the Bengali famine, the Bengali in India, where he took all the food and left them starved. 4 million people died because all the food was taken to Britain because they were afraid it's going to fall to the Japanese.
Clearly see on the right at the moment are very happy if you can denigrate the tradition of Winston Churchill and pretend that Adolf Hitler wasn't so bad, because then you can do things like Christian nationalism. You can do really, really tough nationalist stuff. They basically...
You can buy Kanye albums.
That's the last stage. That's like the ultimate. After they've absolved Adolf Hitler, they want to absolve Kanye, and then they're going to get to the point of heaven.
Right. Well, it's a great book. Everybody should read it. Thank you.
Go fuck yourself. That was 10 minutes of Askerson. Now let's go to, what's his name? Dave Smith.
I agree with you that, like, yeah, the Palestinians have agency, and I wish some of them had made better decisions. Now, many of them have made better decisions, and it's still resulted in nothing better happening for them and their people. And so I do find it kind of hard to, like, lecture a group of people who are going through so much. Like, the level of human suffering that's being inflicted on the people of Gaza right now cannot be overstated.
That's
and
right.
so, you know, to lecture them about how you're supposed to handle that exactly. But I will say, man, I think there's kind of this selective empathy that you have here. Like, I agree with you. You know, talk about these teenagers being slaughtered at a music festival on October 7th. It's like, my God, like, I have little kids. I can't, like, imagine the nightmare of this happening to somebody's children. But at the same time, we're not having this conversation on October 9th or in November or December of 2023. We're having it in 2025, where the tragedy that's been inflicted on Gaza is orders of magnitudes greater than October 7th. There are just every day people are inundated with images of just dead women and children. This is like one of the most brutal wars. And by several metrics that really, you know, like personally matter to me, like the number of dead kids, I think that's a pretty good one. It's more children have died than in any recent war. I mean, this is like, it does, I do think there's almost, like a fundamental framing bias that you get into when people have these debates, and I've had several of them, as you have also. But it seems to me that there's almost an implicit difference in the value that you place on Israeli life versus the value that we place on Palestinians' life. And to even, like, we've gone this far into the conversation and haven't even talked about the fact that, like, dude, Israel has, feel however you feel. If you want to argue, I haven't been there. Stuff does get through the blockade. Okay, fine. This is a captive people, you know, that Israel has dominated since at least 1967. Many of them are there because of the creation of the state of Israel, who used to live in what is now called Israel. And they are just, I mean, the amount of human suffering that's being inflicted on them, when, even as you kind of acknowledged with the George W. Bush exporting democracy, Hamas in many ways was forced on these people. In fact, we saw protests against Hamas just recently. So I don't know. I mean, that to me seems to be the greatest human tragedy. And I think much more so than you can characterize it as people being pro-Hamas or people being anti-Semitic. But I actually think that the mass movement around the world of people who oppose this war has been that people feel really awful about all these babies and
There you go. Dave Smith had it, huh? He's telling you this. So this is what happened to Douglas Maher, our British friend, Maher, our British friend over there. He was devastated by the knowledge of a comedian, Dave Smith, who just destroyed him. And Douglas Maher is a Christian British man, and Dave Smith is Jewish of German descent. So he's speaking. We can't accuse him of anti-Semitism. He's speaking truth to power. So the whole idea is Douglas Maher was over his head. I mean, he was totally destroyed because he was repeating the same talking points that he just did with Bill Maher. That just show you. Well, you know, they are a culture of death. You know how they are. They love death. They love life. So we should give it to them. Well, you've been giving it to them for a long time. The last 40, 30 years. You've been killing a lot of them, you understand? And we have to have that come to Jesus. Let me see what the next video is. Okay, I think this is, what's his name? Scott Jennings on, first, let me show you this video. You guys see this video.
Care about free speech.
Whoa.
You have to be concerned with deporting people that attended protests that were.
How can I forget you? Come on, man. Oh, there you go. There you go. Okay, this is Dylan. He's a comedian, but he's like against the establishment, and he makes a lot of sense.
Critical of Israel. It doesn't mean you agree.
Okay.
I think if you care about free speech, you have to be concerned with deporting people that attended protests that were critical of Israel. It doesn't mean you agree with everything those people said or any of it.
Right.
It means that if those people have not committed a crime,
That's right.
and you cannot show that they are.
You see how sensible people make sense? People who love this country, people who know, who really love freedom of speech, freedom of the assembly, people to say what they want to say. He's, he got the glasses. He's looking. He's a comedian, but he's making a lot of sense. And you have this douchebag called Piers Morgan, who's a hateful anti-Islamophobe, who had everybody that came into the show condemn October 7th for a whole year. After there were 50,000 Palestinian children, 20,000 Palestinian
financially supporting Hamas or in any tactical way, and they're out there speaking freely at a protest, writing op-eds, deporting them because they've been critical of a foreign government.
Listen to this.
Seems to feed the conspiracy theories that the United States is acting and doing things at the behest of Israel.
There you have
what
it.
you want to do, if you're creating a political culture, you want to try to prevent people from drifting to the extremes. That should be the whole point of creating any type of political culture, is to say there are lines that people aren't going to cross. They're not going to get into Holocaust denialism, or they're not going to go, on the other side into this crazy, let's banish everyone who disagrees with us and let's try to get them to lose their job and destroy their reputation. And
you see what they're doing? This would make sense. Now, I appreciate Tim Dillon. I know him when he started and how he started. And what I love about his show is, if you listen to his show, you'll think he's crazy the way he yells out things, but he's making sense. He's saying you cannot destroy people's livelihood, their reputation, or jail them for their right to assimilate and to have their freedom of speech and protest a war that they don't like. America was started on the idea of protest. You can't put people in jail for that. You cannot demonize them and call them anti-Semite and all this stuff and try to close down the whole university because nobody loves the little orphan child Israel.
Really do a ton of damage to people's lives. These extremes you want to prevent. And to me, what I see, there's a lot of long-term damage.
Yep.
Not only to the relationship we have with Israel, but to
the Jewish community. That's what you want to say it.
People's faith in our government to make decisions if we start deporting people without any due process.
Because if you deport people today, if we're speaking against Israel, the table might turn to feature 20 years, 30 years from now, and the same people who are giving it going to get it. You understand? So once you start to say it's okay for us to give away some freedoms, it's okay for us because it's them. Look at them. They're from the, look at them. They're crazy. Let's make them the boogeyman. Let's destroy their lives. But the musical chair is going to come. Your turn is going to come, my friend, no matter how long it takes. So the best value to do is when you leave it in a democracy, you have to protect everybody's freedom to say what they want. But really, I really believe in that because I know. Because once you put a wall against everything and protect everybody, then you're protected. But once you start to let the door open for the wolves to come and take some of the people inside your circle, then that wolf is going to come for you tomorrow. It's very simple, my friends. Nothing has to do with anti-Semitism. It's just facts of facts. That's all it is.
Process. Putting them in a jail in El Salvador.
Look at this. It's crazy.
I think these are things that conservatives are saying, wait a minute.
A lot of jails here.
We've died on the hill of free speech.
Right.
We can't support deporting people because they've been critical of our government or Israel. It's crazy.
Yeah.
If they're legally here on a legal visa.
That's just a dumb question.
Right. What if they are, for argument's sake, openly supporting Hamas?
This is the dumbest. Nobody is. Hamas does not operate outside its borders.
Which is a prescribed terror group in the United States. In that circumstance, because you got this guy, Mahmoud Khalil, who was the head of the protest group in Colombia, who was apparently distributing pro-Hamas literature and was there on a green...
This person was on Wolf Presser's Situation Room on CNN on April 9, saying that we are against anti-Semitism. The same person he's talking about right now. And he's accusing him of being whatever it is, what it is. I don't want to say the name of that organization. Is the same person. he was on denouncing anti-Semitism, and you can, just go ahead.
Todd, would that change your thinking about somebody like that?
Pierce, I've openly supported Hamas. It depends who you're having lunch with. Don't you want to just get through a lunch, Pierce? Do you want to fight everyone all the time? If I'm out to lunch with people from the Middle East, I'm not going to start a whole thing here. No, listen, the thing becomes what is Hamas literature? Is it like a brochure that says welcome to Hamas?
No, there's nothing to see.
Am I selling it to Hamas timeshare? What is he doing? He's walking around the quad at Columbia. I got to see this literature that's supposedly Hamas. I had no idea Hamas was doing pamphlets, brochures.
Smart.
I didn't know. Do you go through a Hamas presentation? Do you show up to the lobby of a Marriott and they just get up and tell you about the organization?
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems flimsy.
It's a lie.
The language we're using to deport that guy seems flimsy to me unless you can make a real case that he was genuinely supporting Hamas in a tactical way that endangers residents of the United States of America. If he beat up a Jewish student, if he committed a crime, if he, all of these things. But if he's just voicing a very anti-Israel point of view,
right,
I think deporting him is going to feed the flames of a lot of people that think that we're doing things at the behest of Israel.
Yep.
And that we're compromising our values to do it.
I mean, we're living at the age where comedians are making more damn sense than the political class. What he's saying is right. What is he saying? You understand? Oh, my head is hit. What is he saying? He's saying that we can't accuse people of things that we have no proof of. And I didn't see no pamphlets. It's not like Hamas is giving out pamphlets at the Marriott trying to sharing time. So when he spoke all those facts and those things that made sense, Pierre Morgan still asked that dumb question. What about it? Fucking piece of shit. Let me get rid of this guy. Okay. All right. Let's see what the next video is. Let's go to the video.
On the Yale student, I pay tuition.
Okay. I'm going to introduce this video, but I want to be in the middle. I don't want to give the whole thing. Where am I? All right. This is at Yale University. They started the encampment again. Now, you see there's about there's about 10 girls like in one line. There's a way to walk from that side and from, there's a way, oh, you can't see my cursor. If you go around those girls, you can walk wherever you want to go. The whole idea is here. He's dressed the part. He has the yarmulke, he has the shirt on, he got that shirt, that glasses, that typical young Jewish man in college just trying to walk his way through the crowd. And he cannot go through there because all these crazy rebel rousers are keeping him away from going to his class. All he has to do is just walk 1, 2, 3, 4 girls away and make that right turn and go. There's another video, I couldn't find it, but I saw it, where the people are walking. But this was done on purpose. This is called propaganda 101. They want to use that. Oh, the Jewish students are being bullied in college campuses. Those poor Jewish boys and girls. I'm going to show you. Come on, stop this shit. Let's watch this. They're telling them as they're going to go around. You don't have to go through us.
We will not stop. We will not rest this close. We will not stop. We will not rest this close. We will not stop. We will not rest this close.
This is all orchestrated by pro-Zionist organization. They already have it all over Twitter. Look at that Jewish kid. Look at them. We told you. Those college students are very bad. They're notorious. Look at them. They're bothering those Jewish kids in school. Oh, my God. All of a sudden, when the Israelis started killing children, men and women and children and slaughtering neighborhoods and family lines, all of a sudden, anti-Semitism just rose up in universities. Just don't make no sense. This is a show. His whole job is to create a moment. See the guy with the video? He's there to make sure he gets the good side. All he has to do is just walk one right side or left side, one, and just go around. But he wants to go right through these girls because he's trying to create a moment. See? You can go around. She's telling him. See that person came to, he says, just go around. We're not in your way. Just go your way. We go our way.
We can only go around?
You can go around. You see them? They're telling him. No, but I got to go through you. Because I'm privileged.
I'm a Yale student. I pay tuition. This is my space too. I want to walk in.
You see that girl? Whoa. Hold on. Hey, let's go back. Oh, my God. Oh, wait. Okay, wait. Let me slow down. Go back. I'm doing that JFK. Okay, I think there's a girl about to walk right from where he's supposed to go. Hold on.
I pay for this, just like you.
Let's see.
I'm a Yale student. I pay tuition. This is my space too.
Yes. You see that guy? He just walked. You see? All he has to do is just walk right through there, and there is nothing wrong. There's no bullying. This is all made for show. There are, I don't know what the word to use when I get in trouble. They are once anti-Semitism so bad that they can't get it. They can't get, nobody hates nobody, man. I mean, I grew up in New York City, man. I grew up in school, in public school. All my teachers were probably 90% were Jewish teachers. My favorite teacher in third grade was Mrs. Gable. She taught me English because I started third grade. My favorite junior high school was social studies was Mr. Siegel, who taught me the idea of questioning authority. He was telling me stuff I didn't even know what it is. I couldn't even comprehend. He was telling me, Omar, you have to question. Don't watch the news. Don't believe everything you see. Don't. I'm a young kid. I'm like, I don't even watch the news. What are you talking about, Mr. Siegel?
I want to walk in.
The people united will never be defeated.
Get out of my way. Can I walk through?
I want to walk through. Why can't I walk through you guys?
Why can't I go through?
The people united.
I can walk through. Why can't I walk through?
The people united will never be defeated.
Why can't anybody else walk through?
Everybody's walking around. See how many people are walking around from the other side?
United will never be
Defeated. You saw that? That individual had the looks, dressed up in his Jewish uniform. The whole idea, and I don't mean in a bad way, you got to be careful what you say, but you know what I'm trying to say is that his whole idea is the camera was ready, the person who's taking the video is ready, they needed that so they could play it in front of organization, and if you watch it later on and you don't know the background or you don't know what's going on over there, you're like, oh, look at it, they are harassing these Jewish kids. Lies. Let's see what this guy.
That
here you go,
this is all about anti-Semitism. I mean, I believe that what's happened on these campuses in the Ivy League and in other places.
Hold on. This is Scott Jennings. I want to tell you.
I think that
these are the same person who are feeding the monster of anti-Semitism where it doesn't exist. It's like they're wishing for anti-Semitism to come, but it can't come. There is no anti-Semitism. There is, anti-Semitism, but it's not as crazy as they're trying to portray it. The whole idea is they're trying to replace genocide with anti-Semitism to cover for Israel. This all they're doing is a cover for Israel. They need us at this moment. As they kill the Palestinians, going to take over Gaza, we need to create a situation here in the Americas so people will not support the Palestinian. Here you go. This is Scott Jennings from Kentucky. They're going to make fun of Kentucky.
this is all about anti-Semitism. I mean, I believe that what's happened on these campuses in the Ivy League and in other places, mostly private institutions, has been an abomination. And someone has to stand up for these Jewish kids.
It's not going to be the rabbi at the table.
Somebody has to stand up with these poor Jewish kids. You saw that kid; he was trying to make trouble.
Someone has to stand. Someone has to stand up.
It's not going to be my friends in Jewish studies who have the grants
until Donald Trump came along in his administration and decided to connect federal funds to stamping out the scourge of anti-Semitism on these.
Creating the anti-Semitism task force. They tried to they bullied Columbia University. They will try to bully Harvard when Harvard fought back, and they know they were going to be discovered who are the people behind the scene. Then they walked it back. That's all it is.
campuses.
Like Nick Fuentes.
Nobody.
Like the Sikh Heil
Nobody was willing to
salutes.
stand up for him.
Like standing up for Alliance
And I
for
think the American people don't want a private university.
See what's so crazy it is? You gotta love America. Now that person is probably Jewish, and he's and that probably is a Zionist Christian. It's a difference. The person who's a Jewish is saying Nick Fuentes, he had dinner with Donald Trump. Laura Loomer, she's crazy. So he's calling out the names of people that have a relationship with the presidency of Trump. And Mr. Jenin here, he's trying to score points to look good. He's going to get a text message later on from the ADL, from Apex. Thank you. You're doing a good job. Thank you for supporting us, for helping those poor Jewish kids. You're doing it. And your voice is really needed at this moment of when we really need it. So he could get that pat in the back, and maybe it'll open some doors for him in the future, someplace in journalism.
With a $53 billion endowment to get $1 while a Jewish kid is being discriminated against on campus.
First of all, let me just hold on. Let me just say.
What a complete joke.
Why is it a
joke? You guys are nowhere. You have white supremacists in your party and in your administration. Oh, Nick Fuentes. Oh, whatever. It's
He's
just
not
a
in our
dinner.
administration.
Oh, Alliance for Deutschland. Oh, it's not really a Sikh Heil salute. Go to CPAC. There's anti-Semitic conspiracy theories all over the place.
Do you not want these college campuses to do better? Do you condone what is
That's
happening?
what Harvard agreed to do. They already agreed.
I think the issue is not whether these universities should address anti-Semitism. The question is, how is the government using government power to do it? That there is a complete distinction between the university addressing its own problems and the government forcing them to do it in a particular way.
The entanglement comes when you take federal money. If Harvard wants to give up the federal money, you can do all the anti-Semitism I guess you want at Harvard or any other school, but that's not the issue. That's not the issue.
This was really about fighting anti.
It's not, take a federal money. These money that they get from federal government is for studies, like for scientists, they study for cancer, stuff they do. They really do a lot of studies. And Harvard University is a rich college. Harvard University, they have about $50 billion. That's why I say, you want to play this game? We go to court. And then when we're going to discover who are really behind this shakedown of universities, who's going to be our Jewish friends through the anti-Semitism task force, they're like, oh, this is not going to look good. It's going to be, we better dial it back. The ADL came the next day. We don't agree with this. Everybody, it's not good. It's not a good look. Let me see if I have, that's it. I guess this is it, right? So in conclusion, it is, my advice to everybody is life is not about hatred. It's not about scoring points. I used to be a liberal hack for the Democrat. They're all full of shit. The Republican Party is full of shit. The Democratic full of shit. The only people that you really need to is your neighbors. Love your neighbors. Communicate with your friends, with your colleagues. Try to be more understanding. And when you look at TV and you watch, question everything you watch. I'm not talking about conspiracy or anything. I want you to question the news you're getting, because what's going on right now is that they used to say whoever controls information is king. Now we have all these different streams of information. That's why they are out of whack. These guys are going crazy, calling every name, deporting people, arresting people in the street, kidnapping them off the street because they wrote a column in a newspaper. Imagine that. That's Turkish. She wrote a column in a newspaper, a college newspaper, let it be. Nobody even knows where that paper is. They kidnapped her off the street because she co-wrote. She didn't even write the whole column because it was anti-Israel. So first, we need to love ourselves, love our country. We have to be the representative of the United States. First of all, we need to call out bullshit when we see it. Nobody wants anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, homophobia. There is no need for hatred, and we need to give room to other people to vent their ideas, whether they're conservative, right-wing, left-wing. Let them do their thing. I mean, you don't have to join them. This is America. You understand? It's these market of ideas is like walking when you go shopping in the main street, in your neighborhood. And when you go from the street, they're all different stores. Some of the stores are selling the same thing. Some of the stores are selling hybrid of the same thing. And you decide what business you want to patronize, what store or business you want to go into and buy your products. So it is up to you to go what business or store to buy your ideas and your information. Always question authority. Don't give in to authoritative ideas. Don't give in to letting people get arrested for their ideas or the way they think or the way they protest, because they're gonna come for you sooner or later. You're gonna be next. Trust me. Don't give that. Don't let the fox in the hen house. Once the fox in the hen house, he's gonna get all the chickens. He's gonna get all the chickens, my friend. All right, peace, love, and harmony. Let me put this, because last time I got a copyright. I'm just gonna end it like this. You know what I'm saying? I can't even find how I want to end this thing. Yes, baby.